Hi everyone, my name is Queen K, and I'm a marketing specialist here at Honey. And I just wanted to take the time today to show you all how you're able to access the Reach One Network application on your Amazon Fire TV. So without further ado, let's get things started. All right, so we're here on the landing page for the Fire TV. We're going to go ahead and use the voice command by searching by saying, Alexa, open Reach One Network.
Here's Reach One Network.
And we're here. So we have the live section, radio section, and video section. So immediately you see Honey. You can definitely tap in over to see what's the buzz there. Consistent 24/7 good stuff, content over there, as well as, like I said, the radio section. Here we have some great things for your listening pleasure. Just in case you want to listen into some things, you may not want to, you might want to see anything. You want to listen. And last but not least, we have the video section, which is a repository of all the wonderful content that has come up and things that will be airing very soon. So I'm very excited to see what you guys think. So take some time, go through each tab, and really just dig into the content here. And make sure you guys are rating us, and we're just happy to see you guys do this content. My name is Queen K, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Greetings everyone, it is the architect Sean Garvey, and guess what? I am back in the beautiful city of the ATL, as you can see in the backdrop here. Looks a little bit like the old Atlanta, but not the new Atlanta. I'm just saying. But I'm here to let you know to join me coming soon to Atlanta's Channel 24 as I introduce a brand new show called Sean Garvey and my special guest. Make sure you join me as I sit down and have one-on-one conversations with the best and brightest stars in the radio, film, TV, and even in the music industry. Plus, you get to learn something from yours truly and from my special guest. So make sure you join me, Sean Garvey, and my special guest coming soon to Atlanta's Channel 24, available on Comcast and Xfinity. And make sure you follow me on social media at Sean Garvey ATL. Mama, I made it, and I'm not even on the news.
Hi everyone, my name is Queen K, and I'm a marketing specialist here at Honey. And I just wanted to take the time today to show you all how you're able to access the Reach One Network application on your Amazon Fire TV. So without further ado, let's get things started. All right, so we're here on the landing page for the Fire TV. We're going to go ahead and use the voice command by searching by saying, Alexa, open Reach One Network.
Here's Reach One Network.
And we're here. So we have the live section, radio section, and video section. So immediately you see Honey. You can definitely tap in over to see what's the buzz there. Consistent 24/7 good stuff, content over there, as well as, like I said, the radio section. Here we have some great things for your listening pleasure. Just in case you want to listen into some things, you may not want to, you might want to see anything. You want to listen. And last but not least, we have the video section, which is a repository of all the wonderful content that has come up and things that will be airing very soon. So I'm very excited to see what you guys think. So take some time, go through each tab, and really just dig into the content here. And make sure you guys are rating us, and we're just happy to see you guys do this content. My name is Queen K, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
What's going on? What's going on? All right, therapy ain't no joke, and we are live. Sean Garvey here at the Mental Space Live, where you can check us out on YouTube. We have another YouTube link that we're going to share with you momentarily for you to like, share, and subscribe. We got Rasta joining with me this evening. How you doing, Rasta?
I'm great on purpose. Figuring life's purpose out, not just for me, but for those that are around me. Acknowledging my errors, my possible mishaps, my possible miscommunication, my possible ways that are not conducive to a better mental health space, not just for me, but for those that's around me. So I'm in a deep space right now.
I dig it. And I love it at the same time. Everyone, bear with me because this has been a very long week for me. No joke, just like the title of the show. Therapy ain't no joke, no joke. It's been a long week for me. I haven't had my coffee yet because I am out of cream. So I cannot do anything with my coffee. There you go. I can't do anything with my coffee.
I even got some orange juice.
Yes, orange juice to mix with that. So I don't have my cream. I don't have my honey, but I do have my cinnamon. But that's not going to be enough for me. So that's that. And then just been a lot of pop-up things that has happened over the past few days that I get an opportunity to share with you all on another episode, whether this is Therapy Ain't No Joke or on another platform. But of course, you all know that we aired a rebroadcast of Therapy Ain't No Joke last week. And I was at the Wu-Tang concert that took place here in Atlanta at State Farm Arena. I talked a little bit about it. Shout outs to the big Wu-Tang clan. Shout outs to RZA, Jizza, Method Man, Capadonna, Raekwon, Ghostface Killer, ODB's son. I mean, the entire clique. You got Master Killer. I think I named everybody. I hope I didn't leave anybody out. That goes.
They're deep. They're deep. You can't name them all.
Yeah, you can't. You can only try. But I had a great time. I talked a little bit about it on the Remix show. You can check me out there Saturday mornings from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. with DJ Yogi, Big D, and the entire crew on WRFG 89.3 FM in Atlanta. But yeah, I talked a little bit about it. I gave my assessment on the Wu-Tang concert at State Farm Arena last week. If you missed it, you missed out on a good concert. And unfortunately, on a bittersweet moment, this is reportedly to be the last tour for Wu-Tang to perform live on stage. So this is like one of their final concerts. I'm about to say conference. Concerts here in Atlanta, and they are currently on tour, touring throughout the state and performing all together before their final concert. And I remember talking about it on the radio show last weekend during the remix, and I gave it a B-. I gave it a B-, which is not a bad grade. It's not a bad grade at all. It was just that going into the show, of course, Killer Mike and Run the Jewels were the headliners for the show, or actually not the headliners, but the startup performances. They were the startup artists. See, this is what happens when you don't have your coffee. But they performed first, and they did a great job. But even before Run the Jewels did their thing on stage, I don't know if they couldn't get a DJ to come in and pretty much bring the energy before going into the show or whatever. But it just seems like the arena was playing music off of somebody's smartphone or something, and it was just playing like a lot of techno music, what have you, and I wasn't feeling it. Neither was my cousin. We both were in attendance there, but it started off slow, and then the Wu-Tang perform a lot of their hits, but I was expecting a couple of joints that I was hoping some of the members for Wu-Tang would perform on stage, which they didn't get around to performing. So that was kind of somewhat of a disappointment, but it was great to see all of them together on stage for the last time. So that's what I really enjoyed the most. So, shout out to everyone that attended to the concert here in Atlanta last week. And after that, it's pretty much just been so much stuff going on, Rasta. And, thank goodness we have a platform like Therapy Ain't No Joke, where we make it a safe space for any and all people who are dealing with life challenges, life's adversities, and even dealing with some form of mental illness, or is in need of a platform or a safe space to come on the show and get off whatever you need to get off your chest. We do have the StreamYard link that is in our YouTube comment section, so feel free if you want to join in. We can cam you up live. This is live. This is not pre-recorded. So we can cam you up, and you can pretty much just ask a question to Rasta. And I do want to let everybody know today's disclaimer is that I am not a licensed therapist nor a psychiatrist. I am only a mental health advocate. So please, ladies and gentlemen, after watching the show, we will have the liberty of giving you all some information if you or someone is dealing with a mental health crisis. But please do know that I am not a mental health licensed therapist or a psychiatrist. I am only an advocate. So please consult with your therapist in your local area after you listen to the show. Now, we do have a professional person on the show, which is, of course, Rasta, who is in the mental health arena. So he will give you all the information to contact him and his services towards the end of the show, because the information that we're going to be providing to you all this evening is going to be beneficial to not just only you, but to all the listeners and the community that are involved in tonight's show. And when I mean tonight's show, we definitely got a very important one in which Rasta came up with the idea of touching on this evening. And I want to take the opportunity to advise everyone that the topic tonight's show is not a super religious type of topic, but it is a topic that we must engage in. If you're coming from a particular belief system, whether you are a Christian, whether you are Islamic, whether you are, a Hebrew Israelite, Jehovah's Witness, or anything, I think it's a topic that we all need to have. And it also ties in with mental health. Anything we talk about on tonight's show is going to be adjacent to mental health. And, these are the kind of topics that you're not going to get anywhere else. So therapy ain't no joke. So tonight's topic is believing in God and knowing God. And this is coming from a video that our very own Rasta made recently. And unfortunately, Rasta, I wasn't able to share it on multiple platforms because I couldn't get it to be shareable. But I had an opportunity to watch the video, and I want to allow you, Rasta, to let everybody know. Actually, you know what? Before we get into the topic, because I did mention a few moments ago that you are a professional in the mental health arena. So for all of our new viewers out there, because every week we get new viewers and new listeners, right, who know a little bit about your background and your credentials in the mental health arena.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I need to back your play. Therapy is not a joke, first and foremost. Two, the topic that we're about to speak on, believing in God and knowing God, this is not about in any form or fashion about disrespect or offense. This is about opinions. It is about spiritual belief, and knowing that everyone's spiritual belief is different. Knowing that everyone's level inside their belief is different. So according to the word, meaning in other words, what some people call the Bible, it says, do not let your food offend others. And sometimes people don't realize that the knowledge that one person may have is not the knowledge that someone else has, and that is okay. The knowledge that each one of us have is due to either from us seeking, the lack of seeking, or the position that you're in your spirituality and your way of life. It doesn't make anyone greater than the other. It doesn't make anyone less than the other. What it says is you are where you are, and that is okay. First and foremost. The next, I am a CPS in mental health, a certified peer specialist in mental health, meaning my lived experience combined with my learned experience gives me the ability to, for lack of better words, mentor others in a space that allows them to see their recovery mind state and their mental health mind state. And I do everything I can to be the model of everything that I'm saying to the best of my ability. Sometimes I fall short. However, I do everything I can to uphold that stand. Pardon me, please. Stand on that and share that with others in a space where we could all see the growth. We can all receive the information of therapy, and where we can all be able to influence each other in a positive space of growth, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and factually. This show is about opinion, professionality, spirituality, and factuality. So that way we don't get it misconstrued on the direction where we're all headed in together.
Right, absolutely. And I want to come behind Rasta and say that even in our previous episodes of Therapy Ain't No Joke, we make sure that we fact check our information, and any and all information that we obtain and retrieve do come from reliable sources, including the CDC. So this is not a show where we just get information off of social media or we get information off of Chat GPT, because we know the world that we are living in right now. And I know a lot of people get their information from Chat GPT, but we want to make sure that any and all information is credible and we get our information from reliable sources, not just only as mental health advocates, but also as journalists. To some extent, we are journalists in the media field that we're in, and we want to make sure that we come from a place of integrity, and the information we provide to our viewers and listeners on all streaming platforms are accurate information based on the information that we obtain from our reliable sources. So that is a long disclaimer, but for those that are new to Therapy Ain't No Joke, that's what we do around here. We talk about all things considered mental health in our community. We are still in the month of Men's Health Month, or however you want to put it, Men's Mental Health Month. We're only a few days away until the next month, which is July. And so we are definitely talking about all things mental health, including today's topic, as you can see in the bottom there of your screen, believing in God and knowing God. And so to just quarterback on a video that our very great brother Rasta put out there, he talked about the difference between believing in God and knowing God, which is something that I myself as an individual has never ever really thought about differentiating the difference between believing in God and knowing God, and how Rasta explained it to everyone that saw his video. You may have not seen the video, but if you follow Rasta on Instagram, then you might have saw the video that Rasta put out there, and I felt like it was a conversation starter. It was something that we need to talk about in our community and find the bits and pieces that we could dissect in this conversation. So for all of my people that have a very strong belief system, I consider myself a spiritual person. I do come from a family of Christian and Baptist members in the community, but I try to be careful as an individual to not label myself something that I know true in my heart that I don't identify with, if you will. Just because you're born into a family of a certain type of culture or a certain type of belief system, is that who you really are? And you have to ask yourself, do you know your higher self, or do you know the higher power that you are instructed, I guess you could say, instructed to worship to, and if you know that there is a higher being other than yourself, what does that belief system look like? Do you believe in it? Do you, or it could be the other way around. You may be a believer of something, but you may not exactly know what you're believing, right? So I'm going to let Rasta take the wheel for a couple of moments to just break down everything that he said in the video, and then we can go ahead and discuss it. So Rasta, go ahead and take the wheel.
Well, please excuse me, even though we're live, I had a very, very important message. Please forgive me. However, please know that even in important messages, in times of importance, that it is a mental health situation, to make sure that you're aware of the things that are going on in your personal life as well as in your professional life. Okay. Before I go a little further, I'm just going to shortly tap on everyone has to have a mental health moment or a mental health day. That moment can be 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 30, an hour, so forth and so on, to make sure that you're okay, to make sure that your mind is clear. Okay. The video I made was, in short, was saying it's a lot of people that go on in life saying they believe in God. Now, as we continue further, you may notice that I don't say God a lot. I refer to, as what people say God, as the creator, because there's only one that can create, and we're all here allowed in an expression to make. Now, the video consisted of me saying, if you believe in God, and you have people who have been around doing their best to praise him and worship him, and serve him, and say they believe. If we look up belief, ultimately it rounds off as trust of an opinion. So therefore, how long will we continue to have an opinion or trust the opinion of ourselves or others, possible outside influences? Or will we take the time to know him? Know him. Meaning, people may quote scripture from any way of life that they live. People may quote what some of the prophets that have been designated to deliver the message to heart. Yet the application of it dictates the furtherance of us knowing him, opposed to believing in him, meaning a trust of an opinion. What opinion do you have, for general terms, God? You have an opinion of God? What is your opinion? If you say you serve him, you say you worship him, you say you praise him, you say you believe in him, you say you have faith in him, what opinion in that context do you have? Respectfully, you shouldn't. You may have thoughts that ramble or cross your mind, but what opinion could you possibly have? How about this? For clarity purposes, I'm going to do it live. I know what it means. However, we're going to go live, right? And I'm going to Google, matter of fact, let me rephrase that. For those that don't know, I do my best to study etymology. Etymology is the history and origin of words, where they come from, where it started, and the transition of their change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm showing you on my phone, right? Oh, hold on. There we go. Etymology dictionary. So that we all on the same page. Listen, I know y'all know that therapy ain't no joke. Do not play games when it comes to therapy and facts. Mm-hmm. However, for the clarity, that's why I wanted to bring it up. Okay. Etymology. All right. I already tapped on the link, so I'm waiting for it to pop up so we can be on the same page. Still loading. Hold on. The background is serious.
Now just
there you go.
Okay.
It's still loading, right? It says search, a little magnifying.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna tap in opinion. All right. We're gonna find out right now where opinion comes from. Now, look, this etymology app is actually used by professors, lawyers, judges, and practitioners alike. All right. And we're going to tap in opinion. All right. I'm going to hit search. Now. Okay. Whoa. Now be mindful when you tap in words that the system is registering exactly what you're typing in, because sometimes we do know AI is difficult. All right.
Yeah.
So, opinion, according to etymology, remember, origin and history of words. Pardon me. Based on evidence that does not produce knowledge or certainty. Let's read it again. Based on evidence, based on something that's there, right, that you can see, right? Something that someone is bringing forth as so-called proof that does not produce knowledge or certainty. Like that for a minute, right?
Okay.
We saying continuously, according to the topic, we believe in God. We believe in God.
Okay.
Belief means trust of an opinion. Opinion means judgment formed. I'm finna read it in its totality. Judgment formed or a conclusion reached, especially one based off evidence that does not bring forth knowledge or certainty. So you mean to tell me everyone, according to the definition, and the history behind it and its origin. We say we believe in God. So we're saying that we are accepting evidence of something that does not produce knowledge or certainty, which is evident because the majority of people that say they believe in God are usually doing something that is contrary. And the reason why I brought up etymology and definitions is because a topic like this is sensitive. No one is disrespecting anyone's way of life. No one is pointing out a specific way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I say way of life because I don't like using the word religion, because sometimes it can target and be offensive. And that's not what we're about. Therapy ain't no joke. It's not about offending anybody, challenging anyone's belief, but producing the facts that create a stable mental health and possibly a self-directed recovery from the space that they're in. I want to make that clear. That's what we're here for. This is the only platform where you'll ever find that we are truly neutral. Truly. Y'all have platforms that say that they are, but they push a specific agenda. And to be honest, we do push an agenda here. The agenda is stable mental health based off facts and respecting opinion. Respecting when someone says something that does not produce knowledge or certainty, but respecting the individual by showing them we're here for you. So, for those that are listening, those that are watching, I'm asking you, and please comment on every platform, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Reach One Communication, Honey, Xfinity, Cox, whatever network that allows us to produce this platform. I'm asking you, comment. Do you truly, now that you know the definition, believe in God? Or are you learning to know him? So, matter of fact, this is what we'll do. Sean, based off the definition, do you believe in God? Or do you know or are getting to know God?
Well, I would say for me, I still believe that there is a higher being. There is a God. Do I know for sure? I don't know. Because, I've been thinking, and we've had this conversation offline, Rasta, that,
Right.
The years of me being in my spiritual aura, if you will, I at times question a lot of things as I got older. And it comes from just understanding life and where we are at today compared to how it was 40 something years ago, and I can only say 40 some years ago because I'm 41. And being on this planet for 41 years, I've seen some things, witnessed some things. And when you witness and you've seen some things that you either wasn't supposed to see or that just happened because, it's reality. And even going through adversity and stuff like that, you start to question whether you believe in God or whether you don't believe in God. And so I was always taught to believe that there is a higher person, higher being other than yourself, to always put God first, to get to know God by reading the Bible, by going to church, by being around a lot of church members, and just knowing that once you believe in God and you put God first, and you accept Lord, you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and personal Savior, that you will have a life full of abundance, that all great things will happen for you, will happen to you, and you will be able to live a healthy and prosperous life until it's your time to go, and that your belief in that particular belief system is your entry into the heaven's gates.
Watch this. Respect, dude. And I want everybody on here to know that respect is first and foremost, because that is one of the bases of mental health. Respecting yourself enough to respect others, right? Let's go back to etymology, right? The word belief, right? The meaning. Please listen. Conviction of the truth of a proposition or alleged fact without knowledge. A trust of an opinion. So, when we look at when people, elders, and first and foremost, shout out to the elders of our life, of our culture, of our beliefs. Y'all always did the best that y'all can with the best of what you had and the best of what you knew. So no offense, nothing but respect to the elders. Without them, there would be no us at all. So I don't want no one to misconstrue anything that is said here. Okay? Now, the elders were taught a certain way. And when they questioned it, they were told, you just got to believe. You just got to believe. Now, the definition of belief and opinion aligns us in a space where both definitions in its origin and its history says proof or the production of fact or the alleged fact with no knowledge or no certainty. That does not describe the creator or what people normally refer to as God. According to the gist of what we've all gotten, it's a fact that the creator is righteous. It's a fact that the creator is great. It's a fact that the creator gives us grace and mercy. It's a fact that he would never tell us to do something that he knows we cannot do. So now that we have a small checklist, right? So if we have any disagreements, we can go back to the checklist to say that he is this. Anything that we're taught, why do we just take that on face value? Let's go to the facts of therapy, the facts of mental health, and the facts of science will all coincide, right?
Mm-hmm.
The brain is fixed to prove whatever you say to be true. If anyone really takes time to think, whatever you think and you say, your mind, your brain attempts, which there is a difference between the two, but that's another episode, attempts to prove just that. You know what? My day is messed up. I'm having a bad day. For some reason, you begin to identify clearly with what's bad that day, what irritates you that day, and what discomforts you that day.
Right.
When you're in a good mood, One of those moves where it's like, I'm on. Yeah. It continues because your mind seeks to prove the truth of what you're thinking and what you're saying.
Mm.
So keeping that in mind, if you was brought up believing God, trusting God, He is who He is. You just got to believe. Your mind is going to seek to prove that, which leads you to accept the proof you find and not challenge it. Now, I have to clarify at this moment. I'm talking about my next few statements. I'm talking about me. Me. Not someone else, not someone's specific way of life, not someone else's belief, not someone else's choices, but mine and solely mine. I will never refer to him as God. He is the creator, the sole controller of all things in existence that give things life in the purest form of righteousness and truth, grace and mercy and fairness. So about me, right? Now, it's a heavy one. I had to breathe on this now. The reason I do that, because the word God has been given so much negative connotation. It has been given so much human characteristics that some have taken the characteristics that have been placed on that as the factual aspect of the creator. We have to identify that the only human, so-called human characteristic of the Most High is only in the form of expression. How we manifest his truths, how we manifest his well-being, how we manifest the evidence that he is who he is. And when I say he, like I told y'all, we're here to be fair. When I say he, only in the space of authority, not in the space of sexuality. So we don't offend anyone. It's not about male or female. In these days, and even back then, he, meaning man, is a form of respect. So when I say he or him, it's in the aspect of respect, not gender. Not gender. Because we're not here to be offensive. We're here to be serious sometime too now, because as the title says, therapy is not a joke. So we're not here to make jokes and make a mockery of people's personal beliefs and opinion. Beliefs and opinion. Facts or alleged truths that do not produce knowledge or certainty. Remember the definitions. So, my experience, me, no one else's. I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm not saying this is directed to a certain belief group. Me. There is only one creator, but many gods. How do we reach that according to the word? When the Most High spoke to Abraham, he told him, do not worship false gods. Implying, if we're saying we believe in the word, and the word says do not believe in false gods, that will give us the indication that there's more than one God. But there's only one creator. So those who say they believe in the word
Mhm.
I need you to step outside of what someone told you and you looked up something based on what they told you and look at what is said. Do not believe in false gods, which would indicate, even if they're false, there are many. And we all know you cannot associate gods with only one true God. So therefore, I do not refer to that entity as God. I refer to that entity as the creator, because it's only one. Me, personally, I am a God when walking in the righteousness and truth in which he, the creator, has set forth. Because if I don't walk in that righteousness and truth, then technically I am a false God. Tell me what you think about it, brother.
Well, to your assessment and to your opinion and your argument, I see it as how can I explain it? Especially coming from a spiritual standpoint. I see it as something like, and I have heard that before, that there are many false gods, but there's only one creator. I've heard that before, and it makes me think, it makes me wonder, if in today's society, in today's world, it will, if we all say, or start tomorrow, if we all call our higher being the creator as opposed to God, right? What kind of impact would that make to all of us as a society as a whole? Or how would that change things here in America, here in this country, if all of us refer to our higher being as the creator and not God? Because even in, like, say for example, in hip hop music, we have heard artists say, I'm the God, I'm God, I'm the God, I'm God. You got a radio personality who identifies himself as Charlemagne the God. So with so many people identifying that they are gods and what have you, does that cause, I guess, a positive or a negative impact to our culture, to our society, if we go out here and we say, like what you just alluded to a few moments ago, you consider yourself to be a god? So I wonder if that is something that is problematic, or something to where it can be more empowering, if you will, to, be able to say, I'm a god, this person is a god. Because, it kind of goes back to the Mary Mary song, It's the God in Me. If you remember the song, It's the God in Me.
It's the God in me.
Yeah.
It's the God in me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that make does that bring a negative impact or a positive impact when people call themselves gods, but they can also say, I believe in the creator, or I believe in the Most High, but they go out here and they say that they're gods? Let's say you.
How about this? Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. I know y'all was waiting. We about to get into the meat and potatoes of this, right? We're about to start to get into the meat and the potatoes of this. So, if a person says, melanated or not, because we don't discriminate here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm God. They're considered a psycho. They're considered crazy. Something wrong with them. But anything outside of that, it's okay. How are you not allowed to step into your true nature? Now, excuse me, please. Let's take me. I'm going to put it back on me. I don't want anything to reflect negative connotation of Reach One Communications or Therapy Ain't No Joke, because the purpose of it is to establish a platform with theory, fact, and assistance. Okay? So I have to separate that entity from me and what's personal to me. So please do not judge Therapy Ain't No Joke or Reach One Communications or any platform that we use as, oh, Rasta said that. That's what they are. That's not that. That's not that. Okay? This is great and this is awesome. This is a platform for us to be the best version of ourselves, to stabilize our mental well-being and spark and stimulate the mind and the spirit. Okay? I want to make that clear. As my wonderful, wonderful co-host says, disclaimer, right? All right. So I want to ask another question. Please comment. Please say what you got to say. We need this. Okay. Now, according to the word, it says, study thy word, study my word to show thyself approval unto me. I mean, you really have to study. You really have to dig in, right? Also, I don't think there's no one that's listening to this that would disagree with my next statement, which is the creator that I refer to, in general speaking, God. God would not tell you to do something that he knows you cannot do. Let me repeat that. God would not tell you or influence you to do something that you cannot do. Why do I say that? According to the word, it says, be Christ-like, be Christ-minded, and walk as he has walked. According to the word and common belief, Christ is perfect. Christ is perfection, walking in the flesh. So how do we take that which is perfect, telling us to think like him, walk like him, and be like him, if he knew we couldn't? That's not right. That's not right. No. If you really think about it, I understand it may be shocking. I understand it may shake your perception, which in turn shakes your belief, which also disrupts everything you stand on. At this particular moment, I am challenging everyone who can hear my voice and see me. Ask themselves, would the perfect one, the righteous one, the great one, the merciful one, the gracious one, tell you to do something that he knew you could not do? To me, the realistically. Now, those who have done their research, we have to understand that Christ means anointing. Anointing. That's a big word now. Anointing. Anointing. A mind state, mental health. They said Elijah was anointed. Joshua was anointed. Moses was anointed. Job was anointed. Elisha was anointed. John the Baptist was anointed. Saul, who later became Paul, was anointed. And just out of respect, those of other beliefs, Buddha, the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, was anointed. If we look up what anointed means. So is anointing a mind state? Is it a mental health state? How about this? This may get a little controversial. Okay, that's not my intention, but I do know that this statement may possibly trigger that. Not in offense, but to the collaboration of a growth of us all, which is, please bear with me. Yeah, I gotta take a deep breath one on this, y'all. Can anyone name someone that the one called Jesus healed? I'm gonna pause for a second. If you study the scripture and look at the scripture, the word, they were all healed according to their faith, their belief, their opinion, or their knowledge. Think about it. Would y'all like to run through it for a second? I'm glad you said yes. Watch this. The lady with the blood flow. She believed, trust of an opinion, that which does not produce knowledge or certainty. If I touch his hem, I will be healed. And according to the word, when she touched his hem, he felt it. He turned around. Who touched me? She was healed according to her belief. Legion, the one of many. He was not cast out. He left, or they left, because they recognized the power of the truth of the word in front of them. Why do I keep saying the word? In the book of John, it says, chapter 1, scripture 14, and the word became flesh and dwelt among us. So before it was flesh, it was the word. That's why y'all always hear me say the word, that which is spoken by the Most High. How else do we prove that according to the word? I say nothing of my own, only that which was said unto me. I do nothing of my own except that which has been spoken unto me. I'm not here to change your opinion. I'm not here to change your belief. I'm here to propose a space of mental health, a space of growth, and a space of understanding where we can all meet together and see the difference between believing in God and knowing God. So I'll tell you what, I'm finna go to etymology dictionary, right?
Well,
And
before you do that, while you do that, let's take a break. Because we about to go into the second half of Therapy Ain't No Joke. And some great things. We're gonna take a break. We will be right back with the second half of Therapy Ain't No Joke. Don't go anywhere. It is Sean Garvey and Rasta saying some great things. If you're just now tuning in, tonight's topic is at the bottom of your screen there. Believing in God and knowing God. All right. So keep those comments in. You can put your comments in the YouTube comment section or in Instagram at Sean Garvey ATL on IG. And we will be right back after these messages.
Hi everyone, my name is Queen K, and I'm a marketing specialist here at Honey. And I just wanted to take the time today to show you all how you're able to access the Reach One Network application on your Amazon Fire TV. So without further ado, let's get things started. All right, so we're here on the landing page for the Fire TV. We're going to go ahead and use the voice command by searching by saying, Alexa, open Reach One Network.
Here's Reach One Network.
And we're here. So we have the live section, radio section, and video section. So immediately you see Honey. You can definitely tap in over to see what's the buzz there. Consistent 24/7 good stuff, content over there, as well as, like I said, the radio section. Here we have some great things for your listening pleasure. Just in case you want to listen into some things, you may not want to, you might want to see anything. You want to listen. And last but not least, we have the video section, which is a repository of all the wonderful content that has come up and things that will be airing very soon. So I'm very excited to see what you guys think. So take some time, go through each tab, and really just dig into the content here. And make sure you guys are rating us, and we're just happy to see you guys do this content. My name is Queen K, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Your Tubies of the world, your Hulu, your Netflix, your Peacock. So what separates Honey from all the other competitors?
That's a great question, Sean. Let's talk about what separates Honey from other streaming apps. First off, Honey offers cutting-edge content with a wide selection of a variety. They're even offering an adult pay-per-view section. But a more important question, what's in it for you? Well, here at Honey, we offer a premium choice to the public. So that means if you're a filmmaker or content creator, we give you the chance to submit your films for free to be featured on Roku itself. How insane is that? Of course, to sustain this and grow our efforts, we need all the support we can get. That's why we're asking you to join our cause in donating to Honey. Now, we know our goal may appear to come off as a bit steep, but the truth is any donation, even in the smallest form, would be greatly appreciated. Please join our cause. Every contribution makes a difference.
Your Tubies of the world, your Hulu, your Netflix, your Peacock. So what separates Honey from all the other competitors?
That's a great question, Sean. Let's talk about what separates Honey from other streaming apps. First off, Honey offers cutting-edge content with a wide selection of a variety. They're even offering an adult pay-per-view section. But a more important question, what's in it for you? Well, here at Honey, we offer a premium choice to the public. So that means if you're a filmmaker or content creator, we give you the chance to submit your films for free to be featured on Roku itself. How insane is that? Of course, to sustain this and grow our efforts, we need all the support we can get. That's why we're asking you to join our cause in donating to Honey. Now, we know our goal may appear to come off as a bit steep, but the truth is any donation, even in the smallest form, would be greatly appreciated. Please join our cause. Every contribution makes a difference.
Greetings, everyone. It is the architect, Sean Garvey. And guess what? I am back in the beautiful city of the ATL, as you can see in the backdrop here. Looks a little bit like the old Atlanta, but not the new Atlanta. I'm just saying. But I'm here to let you know to join me coming soon to Atlanta's Channel 24 as I introduce a brand new show called Sean Garvey and my special guest. Make sure you join me as I sit down and have one-on-one conversations with the best and brightest stars in the radio, film, TV, and even in the music industry. Plus, you get to learn something from yours truly and from my special guest. So make sure you join me, Sean Garvey, and my special guest coming soon to Atlanta's Channel 24, available on Comcast and Xfinity. And make sure you follow me on social media at Sean Garvey ATL. Mama, I made it, and I'm not even on the news.
Hi everyone, my name is Queen K, and I'm a marketing specialist here at Honey. And I just wanted to take the time today to show you all how you're able to access the Reach One Network application on your Amazon Fire TV. So without further ado, let's get things started. All right, so we're here on the landing page for the Fire TV. We're gonna go ahead and use the voice command by searching by saying, Alexa, open Reach One Network.
Here's Reach One Network.
And we're here. So we have the live section, radio section, and video section. So immediately you see Honey. You can definitely tap in over to see what's the buzz there. Consistent 24/7 good stuff, content over there, as well as, like I said, the radio section. Here we have some great things for your listening pleasure. Just in case you want to listen into some things you may not want to, you might want to see anything. You want to listen. And last but not least, we have the video section, which is a repository of all the wonderful content that has come up and things that will be airing very soon. So I'm very excited to see what you guys think. So take some time, go through each tab, and really just dig into the content here. And make sure you guys are rating us, and we're just happy to see you guys do this content. My name is Queen K, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, welcome back. Second half of Therapy Ain't No Joke. I am Sean Garvey, along with Pasta. And just to let you all know, we are coming to you live on YouTube. Just make sure you like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Reach One Network. But we also have another YouTube channel, The Mental Space Live, and on all social media, make sure you follow us there at The Mental Space Live. We're also simulcasting on ATL Community Media Channel 24. So if you are a Comcast Xfinity customer, you can watch us on Channel 24 in your Atlanta area. We're also streaming on Honey. Make sure you download the Honey app. And we're going to make sure that we pull up the QR code, which should be coming up any moment now. There we go. Just click on or scan the QR code to download the Honey app to your Roku TV, because we are available on Roku as well. We're also syndicated on the Flow Television Network and other platforms, and today's broadcast will be on demand on different platforms, the different streaming and podcast platforms, especially platforms where you can get your podcast from. I know that was a mouthful, but just giving you some options on how you can check out Therapy Ain't No Joke on demand after today's broadcast. If you are just now tuning in, today's topic is on believing in God and knowing God. And if you missed out on the first half, which will be on demand, by the way, you missed out on some great information and some great opinions by not just only me, but also by Rasta, and he was just breaking everything down from a spiritual level on differentiating believing in God and knowing God. So Rasta, after the break, or before the break rather, in our first half of Therapy Ain't No Joke, you said some heavy things, and myself and many of our viewers had to jot down some notes and take down some information that you shared with us. So I want you to go ahead and pick up where you left off at in the second half of Therapy Ain't No Joke, as it pertains to today's topic, believing in God and knowing God, because there is a difference between the two.
Absolutely. Thank you. And for all those who are watching, all those who are observing, all those who are commenting, thank you sincerely from Therapy Ain't No Joke, from the mental space. We love y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Please, YouTube channel, Reach One Network. Reach One Network. Remember that. That's a key phrase. Like, it should be a part of y'all vocabulary. Like, seriously. However, I'm gonna kind of touch on something and jump straight into it, which is to explain everyone my thought process to a degree. Etymology, right? The origin and history of words. Okay. So when I use words, I'm doing everything in my ability to stick to its original context, not what it's become. We all know things nowadays have become so watered down or confusing. So in my mind, I have to differentiate between me and what's common. It's been watered down. So I was about to give you the definition of knowledge, right? However, I'm going to rewind just a little bit, all right? I'm going to give you the definition, according to etymology, of the word fact. The reason why I deal with etymology, because a lot of times we use the words that we use now, and we don't fully comprehend what its origin is, which is the reason we have the differences that we have within each other, because some of us hear what a person's saying, but sometimes deep down it's like, I don't think that's what they're saying. And here comes an argument, right? Fact, origin and history of the word fact, right? The word started around the 1530s, right? Action, a thing performed, everything done, a deed. This next part of the dictionary, the definition, this is where everything goes crazy. You ready? Good or evil, but in the 16th century to the 17th century, commonly evil deed or crime. Sit on that for a minute. Fact, word we throw around all the time, even in slang. That's a fact. Evil deed or crime. An event, occurrence, deed, or achievement, right? And in medieval Latin, also state, condition, or circumstance. So what we've been using to say, this is what this is, there's no other, this is this, doesn't mean that. So how do you know if you truly believe in anything or know anything if you do not know what the words mean, right? An early adaptation of the old French word that also became feat, F-E-A-T. The older senses are mostly obsolete, but somewhat preserved in the phrase after the fact. Originally legal after the crime. After the crime. Please, when y'all get a chance, rewind this episode. I guarantee you it'll change your life. Why? Because therapy is not a joke. Therapy is the stabilization of our mental health, in our comprehension, in our recovery space, and how we reach out for help. So we have to know what we're doing so we know what help to reach for. Okay? Now, let's go to what we call, right, the definition of knowledge. Right? Acknowledgement of a superior honor or worship. Didn't think that, did you? For the first element, see, no. Right? So let's go to no. Because this is how we study. We getting a lesson here because therapy is not a joke. Right? No, according to etymology, meaning the origin and history of words. Yes, I will continuously repeat that. So it's embedded, right? Perceive a thing to be identical with another. Bet you didn't know that. Also, to be able to distinguish generally, to perceive or understand as a fact or truth opposed to belief. We get into it, y'all. We get into it. This episode right here, we get into it. I understand. Please, I love y'all. Bear with me. Let's try it again. Knowledge, according to its origin and its history. Perceive a thing to be identical with another. Also, be able to distinguish generally. Perceive or understand as a fact or truth opposed to believe. Listen. Please, as you begin further after this episode, to say you believe in God and the difference between knowing God, look up the definitions of what you're saying. So only then can you walk in the authority that has been given to you by the Creator. Right? I pose to my cohort, and in the professional world, I have the audacity to say my bestie, right? Mr. Garvey, based off everything that you've been listening to and absorbing, tell me what you got.
So I think that what you're saying is heavy this evening. It's a lot to take in. First off, number one, definitely a lot to take in and definitely a lot to absorb. And so that's what I mean earlier when I say that you got to question everything in life, especially as you get older. You look at the world differently than you did a long time ago. And everybody... And let me also say this too. Everybody has a right to their own belief system, whether they believe in God, whether they don't believe in God. And I know that there's a term out there. There's still a term out there for people who don't believe in God. They call them atheists. And I think that people that have a belief system or, coming from where you come from with the state of mind that you have, they base it on the experiences that they have went through, that have observed or they have witnessed over the years, and sometimes you get those people that question life and question everything and question God. Like, okay, why are there so many deaths? Why do the innocent people that do the right thing, that go about their day, they don't mess with nobody, but something bad always happens to good people? I know you've heard that saying so many times. Good things happen to bad people, or bad things happen to good people. And you tie that in with God, and you ask the question, like, why God? Why God? Why God? Why God? Do you think? Yeah, go for it, Master.
In short, based specifically off of what you said, and when people say why God, why this happened, we ask that question because we don't know God.
Oh,
we have a belief.
That's another layer.
God.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a belief in God based off what somebody told our mama, our grandmama, our auntie, our great grandmama, our great uncle, our cousins, our sister. Remember, let's rewind a little bit back in the episode to identify facts according to its definition now, which is basically a fact is only a fact until proven otherwise. So a fact, according to its origin, is a good or evil deed. It's a crime. It's a crime. So those of you, when you get a time, look up crime, so forth and so on, according to etymology. However, based off general conversation and knowledge of where we at, your mind or brain, so to speak, because the mind powers the brain, however, another conversation as well, it's wired to prove your thoughts and what you're saying. So if you're saying, why God? Because this happened, this is not fair, that's what you will conceive in your life. Okay? So if, for instance, if I murder somebody and someone else rapes somebody, in the general consensus, someone would think one is worse than the other, when in all reality, wrong is wrong and it needs to be punished. Period. It's not one thing outweighing the other, because that's like saying someone who got killed and someone that got raped, because the person that got raped is alive and can testify to what has been done and make you feel what has been done. It's more important than the person who just had their limbs cut off and killed. They're not here to be able to testify, to identify and relate their pain to you. So let's go back to what we said earlier, or what I said earlier in the episode. If I can relate or convey, I should say, my pain to you, you would sympathize with me more than the person that died, because now you have an understanding or a form of comprehension of what happened in detail, and in your mind is running, you're like, oh my God. But the person who died can't explain that to you, so it's like, it's wrong. They died. That's wrong. But that's that. That's the stamp on it. But the person who can explain it, it gets deeper. How do we prove that? Let's not lean on my own theory, y'all. Let's keep it going. Mental health, right? Let's keep it going. In court, if y'all notice, a person who commits murder might get 10 years, maybe, depending on how it was done. But a person who attempts murder and a person who gets to testify against them gets 20, 25, maybe life. Why? Because the person can identify and describe what they went through, and everybody else on the jury sympathizes with that, because their mind is trained to prove what they're thinking. We're talking what they call naturally now fact. But back then, it would be considered that. A lot of people don't have what they call a full experience. I only bring that up because you brought up the word experience, right? So, according to etymology, right, an experience is something like observation as the source of knowledge. What you see, the source of knowledge. Actual observation, an event which has affected one. Experiment, proof, right? A trial, proof, experiment, knowledge gained by repeated trials. Think about that. Really, I need y'all to rewind this episode. Like, this is meat, potatoes, like, for real. There's no applesauce here right now. There's no sunflower seeds without the shells here. We got shells going on, okay? Rewind that definition. And then ask yourself, have you ever truly had a true experience? Who has actually sat down and went back to what they have been through to see, acknowledge what was going on, so that they can further comprehend the space that they're in? Not too many people. Not too many people. You go by off what's there and your interpretation of it, and you keep going. So, to my wonderful constituent and everyone else, I asked the question, what have you ever truly experienced? Really? Based on the definition. Now, what I can do for clarity, if need be, bring the definition back up and then pose the question again, what have you truly experienced? So, for therapeutic reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Experience. Observation as the source. We do know what observation means, right? Or, according to etymology, do we really? Another episode, right? Observation as the source of knowledge. Actual observation. An event which has affected one. So, for mental health purposes, have we really truly experienced anything? Have we taken the time to look back and say, I said this, I did this? So let me use you and I, brother. I said this, I did this, you responded like this, you said this. Okay, I felt like this when you said it. You showed me what you felt like when I said this. I felt like this when you said this. And then I did this. All right, now how do I avoid that? That is a true experience. So the question is, reframed, has anyone ever really had a true experience? And if you had, how many of you really had to get a true clarity of where you are in a stable mental health space? I told y'all, please don't knock me. Please don't bash me in the comments. If you do, I still respect you. I still love you, and we'll work it out. But I told you when we started, meat and potatoes. Potatoes are soft, but they thorough and they thick and they fill you up. Meat is tough. You need a knife to cook it, even when it's tender and soaked in vinegar. You still got to chew it and digest it. So I'm asking y'all today, because guess what? Therapy is not a joke. If you thought it was a joke, it's not a joke today. We are digesting today. We're digging deep today. Because it's not just about the belief in God or knowing God, because the process in that is us getting to know ourselves, which poses another question. If we're getting to know ourselves and believe in ourselves, who is really God? Was that blasphemous? My apologies. But let's go back. Rewind the episode. Like, share, subscribe. Rewind the episode. According to me, my belief, my understanding, let me identify that. Not a general consensus. The Creator and God are two different things. What you refer to as God, I refer to as the Creator, because there's only one who can create. But there are many who can manifest and make and express the true expression of that which is greater than us. Please, y'all. Please. Y'all tuned in for a reason. Y'all tuned in for a reason. Because y'all knew that therapy was not a joke. It was serious. Mental health is serious. Let's throw out there for a fact, this month, Men's Mental Health Month. Please acknowledge that you're speaking to in the form of a man, a melanated man. However, let's also identify that a man is a man, whether melanated or not, whether has more or less. We are all men and still deserve the same acknowledgement and respect in our mental health space. Most definitely. We don't discriminate here. We don't. Black, white, green, purple, Hispanic, English, African, Australian, whatever nationality you want to speak or claim, a man is a man. A woman is a woman. Mental health is mental health. How about this? How do we prove that? This is how we prove that. No matter where you from, no matter what language you speak, trauma speak that language. Prove me wrong, I dare you. Trauma speak that language. Trauma is the only language on the planet that is received and reciprocated and in the form of reciprocity the same way, regardless. It's called pain. Yeah, y'all tuned in to the right episode. Y'all tuned in to the right episode. This is not about religion. Please don't get it misconstrued. This is about the current definition of facts dealing with mental health and acknowledging that it's not a joke. We here, y'all. Know this. Prior to the end, let me identify something with y'all. If it's a real emergency, please call 911. If you have any concerns about your mental health well-being to the point where it's possibly unstable, please dial 988 Crisis Suicide Watch. Okay? Please, because we love y'all. We love y'all at Reach One Communication. We love y'all at Therapy No Joke. We love y'all at the Mental Space. We love y'all on Honey. We love y'all on YouTube. We love y'all on Instagram and Facebook. So please know that now. Don't get that twisted. How about this? Once again, I'm going to pose a question to my wonderful constituent and cohort. I'll say it every time. Look, let me tell you something. This ain't no big ups. This ain't no toot kissing. That's about as nice as I can say it. This man, Sean Garvey, he the truth. When it comes to pushing his dream, when it comes to establishing a platform, when it comes to expressing the things that need to be expressed that others are possibly fearful to express due to possible backlash when it comes to the truth. How do we prove that? Remember, everything I tell y'all, we can prove in black and white or the obvious. He has been on many platforms, done many great things, and he is here still with access to the public to say, hey, I'm here. I'm not new to mental health. I'm not new to expressing myself. I'm not new to experiencing, expressing, and explaining and identifying the truth. I'm new to social media platforms. Why you think that in which we believe in, God or the Creator, allowed us to come together to share with y'all the greatness that lies within the power of expression? I know a guy, he'll remain nameless because we don't do stuff like that, but he's a wonderful guy. He has a saying called, and y'all bear in mind, it is patented, okay? It's called "Don't Talk Me to Death." So I'm not going to talk you to death. I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Garvey until he hands it back. I just had to throw that in there. I believe in him. I trust him. That's why I'm here. Great guy. Man, salute to Mr. Garvey, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Salute back to you. And for those that are wondering why I am coming in and out of camera mode, is because I am doing the production side of Therapy Ain't No Joke. I know a lot of you all tuning in right now are used to seeing me on camera a lot, as well as doing my multitasking thing behind the scenes. But I thought it was very important to have somebody of a caliber like Dr. Rasta to come on and speak to you all while I do the behind the scenes thing to make sure that I'm continuing to give you the best quality programming like Therapy Ain't No Joke. So please pardon me, ladies and gents, as I am coming in and out, only because I'm handling the production side. But I've been listening to this gentleman's commentary thus far, and I really do believe we need to do a part 2 on this conversation and bring some leaders that are coming from or that are already in the ministry world to come on the show, and to also have a conversation with Rasta on the topic, in which we are still putting it out there for those that may want to join in and weigh in on the conversation. Believing in God and knowing God, 2 different things in which Rasta broke it down to us earlier in the program. It's not too late to chime in on the conversation. We only got about 20, going on less than 20 minutes left of the program. So join in. We put the StreamYard link in the comment section on YouTube at Sean Garvey ATL, on Instagram, and even on Facebook at Sean Garvey. If you follow me there on all social media sites. Rasta, believing in God or knowing God, a very heavy subject during Men's Health Month, as well as Men's Mental Health Month. And I want you to tell the people, Rasta, where this conversation came about. Because like I said earlier in the program, you was in your car and you brought this to the forefront of people, just picking people's brains and asking them, do you believe in God and do you know God? And so our viewers and even myself want to know, how did we come about this topic together, but where did it originate from in your mind?
Okay. Before I jump into that, I'm about to empower the future guests on part 2. Okay. Let me sit up for this one. This is not to brag at all, because that's not what it's for. It's so people coming forward can identify something. I am an ordained minister. I am certified, stamp, letters of recognition, so forth and so on. And I've been to many places speaking about many things. I've never had a complaint yet. I had some disagreements, but even in the disagreement, they've still held the respect on my stands. So please, those who volunteer to come up, know this, that this is not a combative area. This is a respectful area of establishing greatness, positivity, and a stable development and avenue in many journeys and many pathways of mental health. Now to specifically answer that question, which is, I was riding in my car and please excuse me. I was looking at some things, turn to the left, turn to the right, so forth and so on, people cutting you off. That stuff don't bother me more, by the way. And I realized when I got to a light, there was a gentleman, and he's still a gentleman regardless of his circumstances, standing on the side of the road with a sign that said that was he was holding, saying, please help me, whatever you can donate. Be merciful, because God is the truth. And in my mind, I asked myself, how could you possibly believe that God is the truth and you're out here like this? Let alone know that God is the truth and do what you're doing. So that's where that thought came from, in all actuality. Because I don't knock anybody. People have hard times. People have circumstances that they succumb to. People have moments of unstable mental health moments where it shakes them in a space that they may not in that moment be able to bounce back from until they choose to bounce back from it. So you're out here. So I don't knock it. Now, for conversation's sake, I don't give nobody on the side of the road no money. Never have, never will, at all. Doesn't matter. I will buy you some food. I will get you something to drink. I will attempt to help you find housing. I will attempt to help you get food stamps, government assistance, however you would like to word it. I would attempt to help you get any type of resource that can allow you to get the space that you deserve to be in. What I'm not going to do, I don't care whose opinion and comment, because guess what? We welcome that too. I'm not giving you no money. I work too hard for mine. I don't make enough money to do what I do, realistically speaking. But I love what I do. That's why I do it. And anybody who has encountered me can speak for themselves in the effectiveness that I've applied. I'm a firm believer in being the people's champ. Y'all see this? I'm a firm believer in being the people's champ. If the people say I'm great, I'm great. I already know I'm great. However, as far as the expression or me speaking upon it, it's the people's choice, not mine. However, to bring my statement to a close, the gentleman who had the sign made me ask that question. How could you possibly believe or know God doing what you're doing? Because if you believed in him, your steps would be different. It's evident. The evidence is in what is activated, which is your action. So What I will say is, Mr. Garvey, if you saw someone on the side of the road and they had a sign up that was basically generalizing, I need some money, help me out, and God will bless you and me, would it spark the thought of, do you really believe in God? Or do you know him? And if you did either one, would you still be doing the same thing?
I used to think like that, but I don't. And like, I too don't give people money off the street. There were plenty of times where I used to do that. But I think, when you're doing what people say God's work, when you're doing the Lord's work, that's helping people with housing. That's helping somebody get access to food, access to something to drink, or access to a healthier lifestyle, or just getting them some type of help in need. There's unfortunate people out there that are in need of help. But I also question myself, okay, am I really doing God's work if I give a total random person off the street money to go and do whatever they got to do with it? Because what if I give my money, or give a person on the street some change, or a dollar or whatever, and they go out and they purchase some drugs, or they misuse it in the fashion that I don't approve of? Right. Am I doing God's work? Those are the things that I have to question too. Am I doing God's work, or am I being a neighbor in helping this person go out and do things that the Christian community or people of faith would judge or condemn as Satan's work, or as an abomination towards God, or being disobedient to God when I'm helping that person get a fix?
That's. Ooh, I apologize.
Because you can only hope. Yeah. You can only hope and assume that they take the money and they go out and do the right thing with it. But there are people that do take what is, and I'm using air quotes here, a blessing from somebody that they don't know, thinking that they're going to use it to go get food, or to go use it for something. And it doesn't have to be food. It could be just going to the store and getting a bar of soap to shower and stuff like that. We don't know. But yes, Ross, go ahead.
Watch this. This me. I'm a state me, right? My first thing is, see the sign. What you need? Oh, I'm trying to get some money to get some food. What you want to eat? Huh? What you want to eat? What you need? Oh, I just need the money. I go get it. Immediately, I'm gone. But before I leave them, I tell them, if you ever need assistance in getting a job, or attempting to find some type of support, let me know. Would you like my number? No, I'm good. I leave. When it comes to me saying, what you need? Oh, I'm hungry. What you want to eat? Oh, I just need a sandwich. How long you gonna be here? Because guess what? It go both ways. If I'm intentional with my intent in helping this person, not just saying I'm gonna pull over and give them a couple dollars. If they say they want something to eat, and I ask them what you want, and they say that's what I want something to eat. My intention in the Creator's purpose is, what can I get you? Oh, it doesn't matter. Maybe a burger or something. I tell you what, how long you gonna be here? Oh, I've been here all day. How long you gonna be here? You gonna be here about another 30 minutes? Yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get them exactly what they asked for. And pull back up and get out my car with my hazard lights on. Here you go. Majority of the time, oh man, thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't think you was gonna come back. Now that is doing the will of the Most High. Because it's with the intent and the purpose to assist the individual. All that, and this is my opinion. I don't want to put nothing on Therapy Ain't No Joke. I don't want to put nothing on Reach One Communication. Me. I'll let you know when I'm representing this network and this movement. Right this second in my next statement, I'm representing me as an individual with this next statement. I'm not getting you nothing. I'm not giving you near a dollar. Not one. Just to satisfy me saying in my mind, I help somebody when I know and can recognize that this somebody is going to do something foolish with this money. I'm not doing it. Let's be realistic. Sometimes we assume, but sometimes we know. Sometimes we know. And guess what? I'll be bold enough to say on the air, shame on all of you who see the person and know deep down in your heart, know that this person is not going to do right with this money. Because what you did was enable that person to continue in an unstable mental health space, continue to demoralize their recovery pathway, just to justify your mental need of saying to yourself, I helped somebody. You dead wrong. You dead wrong. And I'll be bold enough to say that. And I would like to think, if I'm wrong and Mr. Garvey correct me, I would like to think on behalf of the mental space, of the recovery's pathways, and Therapy Ain't No Joke, to say you are dead wrong as a fact currently known, and as a fact in its origin, meaning evidence of good or evil crime. You are dead wrong for giving that person money when you know deep down, you know, not guessing, deep down in your heart, you know they're not going to do good with it, but you do it to justify inside yourself to say, I helped somebody. You wrong. You wrong. You wrong. You are wrong. That does not contribute to a stable mental health space. You contributed to all the nonsense that you say you don't like in society, that you complain about in society, when you contribute to that, knowing what the circumstances is. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Ooh, man. Now we got to do a part two. We got to do a part two on this conversation because it definitely was a very deep and heavy conversation. I'm glad that we chose to have this discussion live on the air because it just opened people's minds up a little bit, maybe not a whole lot, but just a little bit, and be able to explore and digest everything you said tonight. We only got a few minutes left here on Therapy Ain't No Joke. But once again, we want to remind people that you can contact 24/7 agencies and organizations that are out there that are helping people with mental illness. And one of the numbers that our very good brother Rasta gave out earlier is the 988 number. So if you or someone you know is dealing with some type of crisis or suicide crisis, they can dial the 3-digit number, which is the opposite to 911. That is 988. If you or someone you know is facing a mental health crisis, that is the 3-digit number. That is 24/7, by the way, 988. And then the other information we want to pull up on our screen here is the National Alliance for Mental Illness, short for NAMI. And you can contact the National Alliance for Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI. That's 1-800-950-6264. Or you can send them an email to info@nami.org. That's info@nami.org. Now, the hours are limited, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you can't get anybody after 10 p.m., you can always dial the 988 number if you need immediate assistance 24/7, 365 days out of the year. I want to thank Rasta, as always, for holding things down with me on Therapy Ain't No Joke. We do this each and every Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Also, we got to send a big shout out to everybody that's on the check-in, that's been tuning in and watching with us on all of our platforms, including Instagram at Sean Garvey ATL. That's where you can follow me. Colleen Blake Miller joined in. Big shout outs to Corleen. Also, big shout outs to Destiny Divine Love. I see you on the check-in. Also, big shout outs to My Loving Spirit via Instagram. Christy, I see you joined in earlier. Queen Day joined in as well. And Ambiguous_Fem or Fem joined in on Instagram. Also, big shout outs to Lakeisha. And one of our most consistent and loyal viewers tuned in tonight, Kofi from Ghana. We really appreciate you for the check-in. Thank you so much. Continue to keep supporting us and let people know to tune in to Therapy Ain't No Joke. And before we get up out of here, Rosty, go ahead and give people your contact information and website information for those that want to get in contact with you for further assistance.
Well, for any further assistance, please reach out to Greater On Demand Consulting LLC. If you Google it, it will pop up accordingly. The phone number will pop up accordingly. The website will as well. My biggest message left is this: catch it, check it, and change it. Right? Catch it mean catch it earlier on. When you catch it, see it. When you see it, acknowledge it. Check it. Facts versus fiction. Facts versus feelings. Right? Change it. Make the necessary adjustments to make it work in your life. Okay? And it works if you work it. Whatever positivity, whatever greatness, whatever aspirations you have in your life, it only works if you work it. If you go to work, you do your job, it only happens because you worked it. Your transportation, because you worked it. So when it comes to your mental health space, it works if you work it. Learn, apply. Learn, apply. Learn, apply. Learn, apply. I say that because watch this. In short, I swear, sometimes I can get a little dramatic. We listen to these songs. Guess what? Songs have what they call a hook or chorus. And what does it do? It repeats. It repeats so you can remember it. And when you remember it, you repeat it. And when you repeat it, you remember the song, and either become your favorite or something you like. So watch this. When it comes to mental health and the therapy, because therapy is not a joke, if you repeat it, it works if it work it. It works if I work it. It works if I work it. Guess what? It will work because you worked it. If you repeat, if I need assistance immediately, 911. If I need assistance immediately, 911. When you need assistance, you'll dial 911. But more,
right?
Just as important, not more, just as important. if you're in a crisis, you know what? My mind, however you think, if you're in a crisis, when I'm in a crisis, 988. When I'm in a crisis, 988. When I'm in a crisis, 988. When you're in a crisis, guess what? You're going to dial 988. And I say that not to be repetitive, not to get streams, not to get likes or comments, but to let you know that therapy is not a joke.
That is a great jingle. You know, we should put that jingle together and just put it out there. Like, I'm in a crisis, 988. I'm in a crisis, 988. You see the rhythm in that? Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Hey, listen, we're getting ready to get up out of here, ladies and gents. We really appreciate you for coming on. And also, in August, from what I have been informed, there will be another mental health retreat that will take place in Jekyll Island, Georgia. I would love to have the people. You're gonna be there?
I'm gonna be there.
You are, yeah. It's up in the air for me, but Rasta has already officially confirmed that he will be out there for this.
It's already booked.
It's already booked. There you
It's
go.
already booked. It's already confirmed. Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network. And for those of y'all don't know, DBHDD, they are out there for the assistance that you need in your mental health space.
Indeed. I'm gonna try to see if I can get someone on behalf of the Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network to come on and talk about the retreat coming up in August. So I would love to do that. We'll talk offline and talk more about that, but I would definitely love to have one or two people on behalf of the organization come on to talk about the retreat, because from my understanding, it's still not too late to sign up. They're getting ready to wrap up, but it's not too late to sign up. So hopefully we can get them on Therapy Ain't No Joke as soon as possible to talk and give our viewers more information about it. All righty. Okay, well, that's been our time, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, you can check out any of today's and tonight's highlights on demand, and we will also have this episode on Honey and on the Flow Television Network as soon as possible. So just make sure you check your local listings for schedule and times. And we are also on demand 24/7 here on YouTube, Reach One Network. And this episode will also be on various platforms, wherever you get your podcasts from, including Spotify and iHeart Podcasts. All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. And also got to give a big shout out to Ray Melody for providing this music bed behind the scenes that you are hearing in the background. So today's theme music is courtesy of Ray Melody. And make sure you follow her on social media. She got them beats at Ray Melody. All right. And until the next time, Therapy Ain't No Joke, Sean Garvey and Rasta signing off. And also, shout out to the team over at ATL Community Media Channel 24 for carrying our show and many more of our content. Until the next time, thank you so much. And make sure you and someone you know is in a great mental health space. All right. We'll see you next week. Take care.